What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to have a chat about EB02. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we finally got news of our second EB set. For a while, there were all kinds of things being shared around, which was very confusing, but it seems like it might have been the case initially that PRB01 was actually EB02, and then it essentially got changed into a different set, which makes perfect sense, incidentally, because EB01 and PRB01, they're not the same kind of set. EB01 is a smaller set, and it's very much a regular set, but there's kind of a few things missing. So EB01 is just an ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill set, but, for instance, it doesn't have special rares, and it has fewer cards. Whereas PRB01 is a very different kind of set, whereby it's basically a reprint set, and then it's got a whole bunch of other stuff going on. There's only one new card, which is your leader, Sanji, and it's largely a reprint set, but it still has a manga rare, that's Nami, but it doesn't have special rares again, like EB01, but it's a reprint set, and it's got lots of alt arts and full arts and all kinds of fun things. And of course, we got those pirate flag holos, all the Don cards with your different finishes, and it's a different kind of set, alright? So PRB01 and EB01, they've always been different. And it doesn't really make sense for them to be the same kind of set. So there were rumours going around for a while about an EB02 coming last year. It seems to be the case that essentially, maybe it was at one point called EB01, but it got stopped being called EB01 a while ago, and it turned into PRB01. But now we've got proper EB02 coming, and ladies and gentlemen, I am a little bit excited because you know what? This is going to be a cool set. And I know some people looked at EB01 and they were just like, nah, I'm cool. And that's absolutely fine. That makes perfect sense. But I like EB01 and I'm hyped for EB02, and we've got a bunch of information. Now, we don't know everything. We do not have a name right now. What we've got is a date, a release date of the 25th of April in the West. Again, this card set has not been revealed in Japan or anything like that, so we don't know is the honest answer in terms of Japan, but we're getting it in April, 25th of April. Usual deal, of course, that it is not confirmed or official until it's on the website, but it is like 99% likely. So what do we know about it, and why should we be excited? Well, here's the information we've got from distributors. Offers a boost to a wide range of existing leaders. This pack includes many ways to strengthen leaders from past packs, such as those with Alabaster and Dressrosa types. Well, I think Alabaster, and I go, hang on a second, Nefertari Vivy. Now, if you've been following this channel recently, you'll notice that we've actually had a bunch of leaders that I like very much indeed that have gotten a lot better. I showed you Bello Betty recently, the one from OP05, and I told you that maybe it's not the best deck ever right now, but it's better than it's ever been, and it really seems to be on the upswing, and that makes me happy. I showed you Smoker the other day and told you how this deck is getting a lot better, and these are leaders I absolutely adore and want to be great. I'm not saying this has got support for the Vivy leader, but I am saying that if we think about Alabaster leaders, Vivy, that's basically where we are here. We're talking about Vivy, and that makes me very, very happy indeed. I can't promise, but I think it's likely, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's pretty gosh darn likely. In terms of Dressrosa, this gets a little more interesting, because we've actually got a bunch. We've got the Rebecca from OP04, and I think it would be nice if both those, the pair of leaders here, both got a little bit of extra support in this set. That would make me happy. But they're not the only ones we've got here. We've got the Kyros from EB01, who is, of course, a Dressrosa leader. So that could get a little bit more support. Never liked it as much as I like Vivy, but I do like the alternate art leader, so I wouldn't be terribly opposed to it. And then, of course, we've got the Sabo leader, the one from Starter Deck 13, which is very much a Dressrosa leader as well. If you're asking me to guess, I think by far the most likely is that they're going to boost up Vivy and Rebecca, and that would be awesome, and I would be delighted. But there are a couple of other options here, which I find kind of fun. By the way, I know we've got a couple of good Doflamingo leaders, and I know that Doflamingo is kind of the antagonist of the Dressrosa arc. Don't expect that to come in here. That's not what we've got. Yes, there's a Doflamingo in OP01. Yes, there's a Doflamingo in OP04. Neither of them are Dressrosa type. They are 7 Warlords of the Sea and Don Quixote Pirates. We're looking at Vivy and Rebecca with an outside chance of Kyros and a very small outside chance of Sabo. Although, do remember, Sabo is red and yellow. Kyros is black and yellow, so maybe we get some yellow Dressrosa cards to help out the pair of them, for instance. I still think it's way more likely we get Rebecca support, but you never know, ladies and gentlemen. You never know. Although, having said that, if we get black Dressrosa cards to help out Rebecca, that would obviously also help out your Kyros, who is a part black leader. I love looking at stuff like this and making these predictions. It makes me so happy. I love new sets. Like, don't get me wrong, I like it when we have all the information, but sometimes it's kind of fun to get little tidbits and have to try and figure out what they're talking about. Packed with exclusive illustrations by some of Japan's most skilled animators. Doesn't say artists, it says animators. All cards feature original illustrations by Toei Animation animators. Players will be able to add these gorgeously illustrated cards to their collection. What this seems like they're doing here is taking the animators from the anime, but having them draw new cards. There are plenty of cards in the One Piece TCG that are, anime screenshots. We had the initial cards, like in the original starter decks, which I'm not a fan of. Take this Usopp here. It's just a screenshot from the anime. I've never been a fan of these cards. It's a bit rubbish. Later on, they did get a little more full-on. So in the most recent set in OP08, the alternate art Kaido and Lin is a screenshot from the anime, which is clearly a better card, but I've never liked that. The anime exists. I want new artwork from the animators who work on the show? Yeah, that sounds good. I'll take that. That sounds rather nice. Additional booster products create lasting buzz. By releasing products to invigorate the game environment between the launch of regular products, we generate even more buzz and excitement. Now remember, this is from a distributor website. So the whole point here is that they're writing this as a distributor trying to get shops interested. It's not written for consumers, it's written for stores. That is very, very important. All right? So that's why it sounds a little bit weird. For us as players and look, if you're a collector, more cards to collect, which I know can be a double-edged sword because we don't have infinite money. As a player, it just means that we shake up the metagame a little bit. And I know that EB01 didn't do a great job of shaking up the metagame. I know it was kind of baby steps, so to speak, but there were some cards in EB01 that were great. Kid and Killer, great card for red decks going nice and aggressive. That was a really cool card that saw a whole bunch of play. And then there are a whole bunch of others. Laboon, legit great card over in black. There's actually a few black cards that saw a bunch of play. And then let's not forget that the Mr. 2 Boncray Bentham is a phenomenal purple card. So it wasn't like all the leaders sucked. All the leaders were terrible. But the point is that there were a few cards in EB01 that did help out a bunch of decks and shake up the metagame a bit, and that makes me happy. What have we got in terms of Rarity Breakdown? It's very different to a regular set. It's an extra booster set. So let's put it side by side with EB01. EB01 had 3 leaders. We had Kyros, we had Kozuki Oden, and we had Hannibal. Like I mentioned, they were all terrible. None of them have seen any significant play. There is one in EB02, a single leader. Again, no guarantee here, but the information from distributors has generally been correct, unless Bandai change their mind and change up the set, which has happened, but very rarely. There was a Digimon set they did that for. We've got 29 common rather than 28, 21 rare again, 9 super rare rather than 8. So essentially what they've done is taken out 2 leaders and replaced them with a common and a super rare. Cool. That's what they've done. I don't really love only having 1 leader. I know they did it for EB01, but as far as I'm concerned, the more leaders, the more possible new archetypes. So I'm not loving going from 3 leaders to 1. But in terms of pull rates here, sure, there's 1 more super rare, which is going to be a little bit annoying. Makes the set ever so slightly harder to collect. But generally speaking, this is going to be the same as EB01, roughly, in terms of collection. And honestly, there's 1 more super rare, but actually there's 2 fewer full art leaders, so that might make things a little bit easier in that regard. It's going to be a similar kind of set to EB01. Don't expect it to make huge metagame defining changes. That is not likely. That is not going to be the case. Expect it to be a cool set of a bunch of cool new cards, some of which are going to be very good, and an extra set where, like EB01, if you really want, you can just go buy some singles, but there's going to be a bunch of other stuff there if you wish. I'm a fan, but I want to know what you think. Are you hyped for EB02 like I am, or do you just think it's a little bit meh? Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.